The Chicago Bulls complete their first ethical tank job of the 2026 period of time because, listen, the Bulls were in this game with the Nuggets for 3 quarters, and then Billy Donovan decided to sit Buzelis for such a long stretch, and he was our leading scorer. But we're going to talk about it all and more. We're going to break it down all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go to get into this content today, y'all. And man, that fourth quarter was disgusting by the Chicago. That was probably one of the worst fourth quarters of basketball that I have ever seen in my life. And the Bulls have played some bad fourth quarters in the last 12 months. Man, that was just crazy to see such a meltdown by the team in the fourth quarter. But it seemed, listen, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but I don't think this is a damn conspiracy theory. It's just absolute facts. This was an ethical tank job by the Chicago Bulls. Just to go over this, right? The Bulls lost the first quarter by 3 points, won the second quarter by 9 points, won the third quarter by 1 point, and then got blown out 39-16 in the fourth quarter of this game. It's crazy. Buzelis, who was cooking, only played 4 minutes in the fourth quarter of this game. Anfernee Simons, who had a pretty good game, only played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter of this game. Billy Donovan knows what's up. He set those guys. Can't nobody tell me different. I don't care if Jesus Levante Christ himself came out here and said, hey, bro, they weren't tanking. I'm going to say, Jesus, I'm not going to call you a liar, but the truth ain't in you. That's what I would say if Jesus Levante Christ himself came and told me that the Chicago Bulls weren't tanking in the fourth quarter of this game. I've seen tank jobs before. That was a tank job. I don't care what nobody says. That was absolutely a tank job by the Chicago Bulls. Absolutely. But nonetheless, I mean, it's by design. We all know what the rest of the season is for the Chicago Bulls. None of us are remiss to the point of what this means for the Chicago Bulls the rest of the way through. We all know what this is going to be. And that's just what it is. The Bulls are doing exactly what the design is for them to do. That's it. That's all. That's what they're. Listen, Voltrex, here's what I got to tell you, bro. You are so busy looking for fucking attention. How about this? The name of your mom, the middle name of your mama was fucking, because she was fucking everybody. Last name everybody. How about you just chill the fuck out, go sit your ass down, stop looking for attention because you're a loser, you're stupid, you're dumb, and you're just an idiot. So that's what you need to worry about. Now, moving on back to the game. This was absolutely a tank job by the Bulls. But outside of that, if you look at the fourth quarter of this game, outside of the minutes played, the Bulls shot the ball 29% in the fourth quarter of this game and only 12% from the three-point line in the fourth quarter of this game. You take away that fourth quarter, the Bulls played a pretty solid game today. 44% shooting from the field, 39% shooting from the three-point line. They did exactly what they needed to do today. And that's really what it's about. That's what this team is trying to do at this point in time. They're definitely trying to prioritize their draft position. So if anybody was asking if this team was really trying to focus on the draft, I think that this loss goes a long way to prove exactly what they're trying to do for the rest of the way. Personally, 1 game sample size in regard to it being this egregious in the fourth quarter of the game. It wasn't this egregious in the fourth quarter of last game, but I really feel like AK was watching the game from somewhere and he was like, Billy, tank. I really feel like that's what happened, is that they had to do that. Personally, that's what I feel. But watching this game for the Chicago Bulls, and I'll say this again, I'll say this always, there's some promise with some of these players on this team. I'm not going to lie to you. Nick Richards, 15 points. And remember, some of y'all were saying when we got him, Nick Richards was trash. Nick Richards, 15 points in 19 minutes, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block in this game. I could take that from my backup center. I could take that from my backup center. Like, that's what you want to see. Collin Sexton with 17 points off the bench as well in this game. Patrick Williams with 8. He was 3 or 4 from the field, but P. Will was P. Will at times in this game. But Anfernee Simons, 5 of 15 for 15 points. Could have definitely been a more efficient night. For those that were saying he's Kobe White, or he's better than Kobe, that felt like a Kobe White shooting experience tonight, but he also had 6 assists, 4 rebounds in this game as well from Anfernee Simons. Jaden Ivey in this game, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers from Jaden Ivey. And I continue to look at Jaden Ivey and just see a player that he does not trust that leg. I think it's a very evident thing. You can clearly see it. Jaden Ivey does not trust that leg yet. And hopefully, through playing more minutes, he played another 30 minutes today. Keep in mind, he was averaging less than 17 minutes for the Detroit Pistons. He played 33 minutes in his first game for the Bulls, 30 minutes today. And I think that the Bulls are giving him a lot of minutes so that he can try to work through this rust and stuff, and then go into the offseason and attack the offseason and hopefully come back with more confidence in that leg heading into next year. The negotiations between Jaden Ivey and the Chicago Bulls are going to be one of the biggest stories for this Bulls team the rest of the way. I do think that's going to be that. But Ivey, you saw a little bit of it. He had a time where he did a catch-and-shoot 3 that I can't remember. Was it a Dillingham pass? I don't think it was a Dillingham pass. But it was nothing but net. So, like, you see some of it from Jaden Ivey. And you saw opportunities for those that watched Jaden Ivey when he was on the Pistons before this season. Like, there was times where he had Jamal Murray on a drive. He had the first step on Jamal Murray, but he hesitated. And that's just not who Jaden Ivey was last season. So I think once that confidence gets back in Jaden Ivey, I do think Jaden Ivey is going to be a pretty damn good player. I don't know if he puts up the production that Kobe White did, and he doesn't have to be. Like, I want to be clear here. To be a good shooting guard next to Josh Giddey, you don't necessarily need to be Kobe White. You don't need to put up 20 points per game. Jaden Ivey, if he puts up a consistent 18 points per game next to Josh Giddey, I think that's a pretty good production. You're, of course, looking for other players to step up as well. One thing that I really did like in this game is that before he was held out such a large part of the end of the third and the fourth quarter, Buzelis was leading the Chicago Bulls in shot attempts today. I love seeing that from Buzelis. Whether he makes them, whether he misses them, I want to see an aggressive Buzelis the rest of the way this season because this is what he needs to do. This is exactly what he needs to do. And we'll see if he can do it consistently from that. Guerschon Yabusele, 12 points, 2 blocks, 1 steal. And I tell you what, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but he played some really good defense at times against Jokic. I know Jokic had a crazy triple-double against the Chicago Bulls, 22 points, 17 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 blocks, 1 steal. But if you really go back and look, especially in that first half, Yabusele played some really solid defense on Jokic. And Nick Richards did too, for that matter. And it's good to have some defensive bigs in here. I think really does make a big difference for this Bulls team, and you love to see it. Listen, Rob isn't a world beater, but you got to admit that motherfucker better than Dalen. You was tripping with that one. I've seen games like this from Dalen Terry. You got to do it consistently. 3 of 7, we've seen games like this from Dalen Terry. Now, I will say his passing was really good, but he had 4 assists on 3 turnovers and 1 steal. We've seen games like this from Dalen Terry. Didn't call timeout until they went on a 12. Yeah, that was bad timing. Very bad timing. You knew what was going on when they did that shit. We were just fun bad for the first 3 quarters and bad at the end. We weren't even bad the first 3 quarters. We weren't bad the first. I'm sorry, I can't even call it fun bad. We played a pretty solid first 3 quarters in this game. Dillingham has some potential, same with Richards and Yabusele, but I hope Giddey or Trey comes back and takes a little control of the game because it was a mess. Yeah, I mean, but I think that sloppiness that you saw is more a byproduct of the fact that these guys have had 1 practice together. Just 1 practice together. So it's hard to have chemistry when you haven't had any practice together. They just need chemistry as a team. They're good in the first to third quarter. Billy Donovan's coaching in the fourth quarter is the problem. But I really do think that was by design. And that, you know me, I hate Billy Donovan. I definitely think that was by design, though. If we can somehow land in the top 3 this draft, that would be amazing. I mean, listen, the chances of that are very slim. I don't want y'all to get y'all hopes up on that, but we'll see. Y'all said Yabusele was trash. Oh, they definitely said Yabu. There were some people that were like, why would we trade Billy Donovan or trade Dalen Terry for Yabusele? Because Yabusele is a much better player. You got tremendous value for Dalen Terry. Tremendous value for Dalen Terry. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, but you got great value for Dalen Terry. And who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? So, say what you will with that one. Sexton was a good – Sexton did have some – there was that moment in this game where during a dead ball period, Collin Sexton, Modest was talking on the sideline, and Collin Sexton was basically saying, like, yeah, I'm pass it here or whatever. And that's good. Now, was it because Collin wants to shoot the ball a little bit more? Maybe. But, it is what it is, man. Ivey looked rough, but you can still see those flashes. Yeah, you can see the flashes of exactly who he was in Detroit. He just isn't I can't say he's not healthy. He's still getting over the mental aspect of coming back from that injury. They had some good fight for 3 quarters at least. Richards, Yabusele, and especially Sexton. He's like a Pat Bev with his energy. I don't hate that. I don't hate where you're going with that one. Haize, I understand we talk about personnel, but sometimes coaching does matter in this game. Coaching always matters. It's not sometimes. Coaching always does matter. I want to be clear on that. It always matters. Now, sometimes talent can overcome some weak coaching moments, but coaching always matters. You have to admit Rob Dillingham didn't look terrible. He made some great passes and some good buckets. There may be a little hope for him. I mean, listen, he's young. What is he, 21 years old? So there is still time out there for him. I'll say this, the quickness, if he learns to use, it seems to me like Rob Dillingham is somebody who he's used to being the fastest person on the court, so he just goes fast. If he understands, if Rob Dillingham gets that change of speed, right, where you understand how to accelerate. Let me not just go right to as fast as I can run. Let me choose where to accelerate. It gets some more open shots for him. There are a number of opportunities that he could have had some open shots at the bucket, at the rim today, but he didn't take them. He didn't go into the drive like I would have wanted him to go. Get him some work. Could be. If Modest ever does develop the on-ball shot creation, he's a legit star. Could be. No, could be. We'll see what happens there. And I put humiliated in Denver. It's by Denver. Hold on. Let me change the title of this video real quick before the assholes start commenting on it. There you go. Good fight still. This is what we will see for possibly the rest of the season. We won some games, but hey, this is what we have to trust unless a pic of Jerry kissing Jeffrey is found. First of all, that's crazy. That's wild. That's crazy. What's up, Haize? I disagree with you about tonight's game. Was awful, no doubt, but I don't believe we'll ever tank as long as a tourist is here. He's never committed to just being terrible. Hey, listen, you can disagree all you want. First of all, today's game wasn't awful. You said you disagree today's game was awful? I don't think it was awful. And I think that what the hell, they texted me in the group chat. That is hilarious. That's funny. Assuming we keep Ivey regardless, if you can only keep one between Sexton and Simons, who would it be? Oh, I'm picking Simons all the way. And no knock to Collin Sexton, but I think Simons knows his role and excels in his role better than Collin Sexton does. Anfernee Simons is a player that I would not be surprised if we see some games where Anfernee Simons dribbles the ball like 3 times. Like, especially when Josh Giddey and Trey Jones comes back. So I'd say Anfernee Simons because I trust him. If you need that scoring punch, whether it's off the bench, whether it's in the starting lineup, I just trust Anfernee Simons more than Collin Sexton personally. They're both scoring guards, but I trust Anfernee Simons a little bit better. I've expected more movement. Sexton is the IO replacement with more vote. He's not an IO replacement. He's himself. Like I get it that we just lost guys, and it's a natural thing to start thinking, oh, who's going to replace this guy? They're not similar players. They're not similar at all, like in their play style. Collin Sexton, his job is to be Collin Sexton. He's not going to be a defender. He's not necessarily the rebounder that Io was either, and he is a more high-volume scorer. He needs the ball more. Io would have scored 17 points off 9 shots. And I don't say that to say that one way is better than another. I'm just saying they're very different players is all I'm saying with that one. Stacey and Adam were right. The rest of the season will be an audition for these players. Hopefully front office will also hold auditions for a head coach. That's what a lot of Bulls fans are hoping. A lot of Bulls fans are hoping that for sure. Looked like Rob was too worried about playing the right way. He needs to just play his game. A lot of turnovers trying to pass and didn't want to score. Yeah, I mean, listen, and there's something to be said about the fact that he is a point guard. So I'm never going to knock a point guard because Trey Jones does it too. I'm not going to knock a point guard if they look to set other players up. And he did that. He caught Modest on the lob. He caught Nick Richards on the lob. So I'm not going to, like, if you pass up a good bucket for a great bucket for your teammate as a point guard, I'm not going to be mad at that. And maybe that's what Rob Dillingham needs to adjust to. Keep in mind, Dillingham has been a scorer in high school, in AAU, and in college. He was a scorer. But because of his lack of size at the NBA level, that scoring is going to be a little bit harder to come by. If Rob Dillingham adjusts as a player and realizes, hey, I can set these other guys up, and then because I can shoot the ball, if they collapse on my big or whatever and it comes back out to me, I can get a shot. If the ball movement leaves a lane for me to open, okay, cool. I'm going to dive into that lane. I'm going to try to get to the free throw line or get to the rim. That's what Trey Jones does. And I'm not trying to say that Rob Dillingham needs to become Trey Jones. I'm just saying that if Dillingham realizes he doesn't have to be what he was in college, in the NBA, and if you can adjust to that and find a different role for yourself, maybe you can be more successful than just being a straight-up scorer, right? If he can do that, then maybe there is a future for him because it's going to be difficult for Rob Dillingham as just a scorer in the NBA. Maybe he adjusts, maybe he doesn't. But if you learn to also set up your other guys, if you also learn to sacrifice your body, if you also learn to do those things, then there's more of a role for you than what just being a pure scorer is in the NBA for somebody who's only 6'1". And so I'm not mad at him for doing that. If anything, it shows a level of awareness that I didn't think Rob Dillingham had if he's already realizing on this team where he doesn't have chemistry with these guys, let me go ahead and set up my big. So I'm not mad at that, in my personal opinion. Again, not saying you're wrong for how you feel, but in my personal opinion, I'm not mad at Dillingham doing that. I still think Billy is holding Modest back by not letting him take mid-range shots. Would love to see Modest develop into an all-around player. He definitely needs to put on some muscle, though. Yeah, I mean, listen, I would love to see what I did love to see today is the fact that we actually called actions for Modest Buzelis. Now, eliminating the mid-range shot, we've all talked about that ad nauseum. I'm never going to agree with that. I don't agree with any of that, but, you know, it is what it is, man. Richards looked pretty solid. If he keeps this up, we probably keep him as a backup, then either draft or get our center of the future. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this way. You do both. I would love to see the Bulls sign a veteran center and draft a center. And I only say that because we know that Billy Donovan probably isn't. And young centers don't typically play a lot anyway without getting in foul trouble. So if you keep Nick Richards and sign 2 more bigs, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that at all. Or if you keep Zach Collins, Nick Richards, and draft your center of the future, I'm not mad at that either. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see Collin Sexton and Trey Jones play together. That could be a nice bench unit. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. Love the lobs. I get the Bulls may lose a lot, but they play with energy, and this is a fun team to watch. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're going to lose, you can at least be a fun, competitive losing team. And hopefully that's what this Bulls team is the rest of the way. We got a lot of season left, a lot of games left to be played, and we'll see how we're going to perform as a team. Hope Dillingham develops with us because him as a backup to Jaden Ivey would really be good. Yeah, the question is that are those minutes going to be there for him with Trey and Josh Giddey? And here's the thing. I know people aren't going to like to hear this. I'm not saying that I want this to happen. I got to preface this like 3 different times. Again, I'm not saying that I want this to happen. I'm not saying that this is what the Bulls should do. But I would not be surprised, y'all, if the Chicago Bulls do look to trade Trey Jones this offseason and open up a spot for Rob Dillingham to get an opportunity as that backup point guard. I don't want to see them do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So, you know, we'll see there. Vaughn says, Giddey, Simons, Modest, Jalen with Ivy, Jones, Okoro, and Essegay. Off the bench is promising. Center position starter and backup should be the main priority this offseason in the draft and free agency. We'll see. I think you also need to get a defensive wing in there. I think that, personally. I think you need another defensive wing in there. I think this offseason, of course, figure out what you're going to do with Jaden Ivey. Figure out what Sexton and Simons, which one, or if not both of those guys, are you bringing back. Of course, we need a big. Everybody's going to agree on that. But I think if you can get one more 3-and-D wing here, well, we don't have a 3-and-D wing at all, but if you can get a defensive wing or ideally a 3-and-D wing in here, I think that can help you a lot too. Rob does need to work through his mistakes because those flashes today look nice. I hope Billy lets him get 20-plus minutes a night for the rest of the season. It's going to be difficult once everybody gets back. It's really going to be difficult, but we'll see. Great point, Haize. Rob needs to adjust his game to a point guard mode if he wants to stick around. And if he does that, great. I don't, as just a scorer, the ceiling is very low for Rob Dillingham. But if he develops as a passer, and those type of things, and he grows into a guy that can actually run the offense. Because keep in mind, like you can. One of the knocks on Rob Dillingham is that he's not a great passer, he's not a great facilitator, he's not a great setup guy. But he hasn't really needed to do that in the other stops in his career. He's going to have to adjust now. Maybe that's in him. Maybe he just has never really had to be that guy. If he does that, and that's the mental part of the game that he can add to his natural ability to score, it ups his ceiling as an NBA player. It really does. Deanna says McClung was sitting on the sideline looking like he just dropped his debut country western mixtape with Jelly Roll. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What are the odds of them shutting Giddey down for the season? I personally think he still needs the reps and development. I don't know if Giddey needs development reps, but, I mean, there's 29 games left in the season. With the NBA sitting rule, they would have to come up with something more than a hamstring to sit him every game. But I do think you're going to see an extent. I don't think you're going to see Josh Giddey before the All-Star break, if that's what it means. I don't think you see him at all before the All-Star break. So he sits these last 2 games before the All-Star break, and I don't think we see him again until after that. That's the most I'm willing to say right now, and we'll see. Now, if there's fuckery around the All-Star break where we hear, oh, the Bulls got to ramp him up, then you're probably going to shut him down for the rest of the season. Who would you keep as your big rotation of Richard Smith, Collins, Yabusele, and whoever we draft? I don't think you keep both Nick Richards and Collins and Yabusele. So I think Yabusele is going back overseas. That's just my personal opinion. I think he already had planned to go back overseas. That's why he was fine kind of waiving that last year of his contract. So I think that if you're asking between those guys, I think Yabusele is probably already going back overseas. So at that point, I wouldn't be mad keeping both Collins and Richards. If you do draft a center high up, I wouldn't be mad at you keeping both those guys at all. Shay says, to be honest, I don't believe AK knows what he really wants to do with this team. And I don't disagree with you. I would need to see that come to fruition before I believe that. Rob need to get in the gym with Nate Robinson first of all. Nate Robinson. Have you seen Nate Robinson lately? You might as well call that motherfucker bowling ball, bro. I don't know, Haize. It's fun to watch 2 days in. Can't wait to see how they play with Giddey. Hey, that's what really this is all about, right? Like, when you think about all these guys, you're really thinking about how they fit, especially the guards. How do they fit with Josh Giddey and Trey Jones, for that matter? And so until we see those guys with them, and that's to go to the earlier point where somebody asked me if they'll shut down Giddey for the entirety of the year. The one reason why I think they may not shut down Josh Giddey for the rest of the year is because they're going to want to see Simons and Ivey and Sexton. They're going to want to see those guys with Josh Giddey because, you know, if the thought process is right, you brought in those guys hoping that they may be better short to long-term fits next to Josh Giddey than what you saw from Kobe White. So that's probably where you're going to bring that back. I miss Giddey hoops. Not going. Oh yeah, I always miss Giddey. Giddey is like his game looks awkward sometimes. It doesn't always look the smoothest, right? But like he gets it done, and I love seeing Josh Giddey play basketball. He makes players better around him for sure. Are you out on Jalen Smith's potential as a backup? No, because I want to see Jalen Smith be the starting 4, and I want to see Modest be the starting 3. I've said that for a long time, Vern. So no, I'm not out on Jalen at all. I want to see Jalen be the 4, and I want to see Modest move to the 3, and that's what I would love to see for the Chicago Bulls team. The metrics are there, the analytics are there, the proof is there. I think they play better when Modest moves to the 3 and Jalen's at the 4. That's just my personal opinion. If this is how the Bulls going to play, I'm going to start watching college games. Did you actually watch all of this game, bro? Like, this game they played great for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter was bad. Make no mistake about it. And I can if that alone is why you're willing to turn it off, I can't blame you for that. But they played a fun brand of basketball for 3 quarters in this game. A very fun brand of basketball with the best team in the West at that. I would really like to keep Yabu, but I never want to see him and Pat Will on the floor. Well, I don't want to see Pat Will on the floor at all. So, you know what? That's what Yabu. If we get actual centers, Yabusele should be the P. Will replacement. Think about it. They're about the same height. Yabusele can hit a 3. He can guard 4s. He can guard some 5s. Like, just sit his ass on the bench, bro. Like, I don't want to see P. Will play at all. You can tell who watched the whole game. Oh yeah, and listen, Anthony Vargas. You just ignore Anthony Vargas. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Keep Rich. He's a good big man. I like Rich as well. They did. I love the lobs from Dillingham and him breaking down the defense. Yeah, I want to see. And I listen. Y'all know I wasn't a Rob Dillingham guy at all. I would have loved to see Rob Dillingham actually take it harder to the rim after getting by some guys and try to get to the foul line. But I really do enjoy the passing that he brought in all of that. This game was exciting. Yeah, it was very exciting for 3 quarters for sure. Nuggets also shot nearly 50% from 3. That's tough to beat. Yeah. Yeah. Haize, I believe Ayo played much better with Josh Giddey than I almost said Caleb Williams, than Kobe White. That's what's still making me mad about the trade. Yeah, but it is what it is, bro. I mean, at this point, it is what it is, man. If this is how they play against one of the best teams in the league with players out, then this team will win too many games to tank well. I mean, unless it's an ethical tank. If both are the 10th pick, considering the Bulls don't move up or down, would you take JQ or Sinak? Ooh, that's a great question. I say JQ. I think JQ fits better with Josh Giddey, personally, but I can't be mad at either. I wouldn't be mad at it. It'd be a situation where I wouldn't be mad at either player at all. We shouldn't be keeping none of these current centers next season, to be honest. Maybe Nick Richards. Smith is a 4. 1 free agent signing, draft one, and call all brick up. No, I disagree with that. You should keep one of those guys because, again, well, it's depending. Are they back trying to compete next season? Because I think that answer, that question, that's the one that needs to be answered before we answer that for sure. I didn't know Yabusele could shoot the 3 ball that well. He's a career like 36, 37% 3-point shooter. He's a decent 3-point shooter for sure. Now I don't know if I want him taking I hope that they don't devolve him into that taking early in the shot clock transition threes, but as like a guy if the point guard breaks down the defense and he floats out there to the outside or on a pick and pop, I like Yabusele from the 3. You do. Who do you think a better lineup would be? Sticks at the 4, Richards at the 5, Modest at the 3, Simons is. Listen. I'm sorry, Tyrone. It's probably me. It's late. I'm old. I don't know what the fuck you trying to ask me, big dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. I read that question in my head. I don't know what you're trying to ask me, dog. And like I said, I'm not even trying to make fun of you. This is on me. I'm saying that this is on me. I'm taking responsibility for that. I have no idea what you're trying to ask me. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have no idea what you're trying to ask me at all. I get people want the tank, but like you said, Haize, the Bulls are going to be right there for a playing spot down the stretch. I think with some gel time, this team might actually get the 10th seed. We'll see. I tell you what, the pro tankers are going to hate that if that ends up being the case. They are going to hate that. Philadelphia is a better representation of Yabusele than New York. He can knock down the 3 and was a solid role player. Yeah, I mean, he was really good in Philly last year. Like I said, Tyrone, it could very well be me, bro. I'm tired as hell. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I am tired as hell. So I'm not even going to say that as you. I'll take accountability and say that as me because I'm tired. I am very, very tired. And with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show because I am very tired. I appreciate y'all. I know it's not super late, but I've been up since like 5 this morning. But as long as Billy Donovan blocking the potential of Modest Buzelis, I'm not betting this team to make the play-in. Modest is supposed to be the second or third option. It's not supposed to be the second or third. Oh, well, now with everyone gone, I can get what you're getting at. But, when you have scoring guards, they're always going to get more of it. But we'll see. We'll see. But, all right, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, wait, did you get it? Here it goes. I want to get this question. I was trying to ask if a good lineup would be Richard at the 5, Sticks at the 4, Modest at the 3, Giddey at the 1, and Simons at the 2. I think that would be a good line. I don't know if you want that to be your starting lineup, like, long term, but I do think that that's a nice mix of offense, and you got a defensive big in there. You got shooting with Simons in there. Modest has really grown as a three-point shooter as well. You lack perimeter defense badly in that, but I do think though that lineup could play off each other pretty well, Tyrone. I really do. But all right, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like we like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.